Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your brother Solo 3.0 again, right back at it. Want to talk about the vibration that is on the earth, has been on the earth, when it comes to like women following mainstream star status type of individuals, such as like the Beyoncés, the Michelle Obamas, um, the Cardi B's, you know, the Megan Goods, all the and the Madonnas, the Janet Jacksons, all the superstar women um, play a big role in how women move in today's environment. I remember like I would see women wearing gray wigs about a year ago, wearing gray wigs and stuff like, damn, why would you put a gray wig on your head? And then one time I came across like some Atlanta housewife, and I guess somebody, some reality TV show, and the woman was sporting, gray wigs, and so I'm like, that's where they got it from. But I want to bring out, give you some understanding so that you may navigate through life understanding, having a bird's eye view of why things move the certain way that they move. And this topic at hand is going to be about how women that are empowered, women who are high influencers, can influence a whole country for the good or for the worse. And we're going to give an example in the history in the scriptures in the book of Esther with Queen Vashti, and we're going to use it as the comparable how the women today who are in high status, you got your Kardashians. I think a woman not too long ago, she had got plastic surgery so she could look more like the Kardashians. And they have these reality shows, and these reality shows are getting views because they have that much effect on women. Men are not sitting at home watching the reality shows of these females. It's the women who are idolizing them and adopting their philosophies and ways. And for that reason, they're going to suffer the consequences of the type of philosophies that they're copying. If it's bearing no fruit, then they're not going to have any good fruit. So I want to show you brothers and sisters how a lot of this stuff has been going on for decades, and how to be able to identify a woman who's set apart from the reality of this world, and how everybody's moving in a hot girl summer, or a boss chick, or even a feminist movement, the things that are contrary to nature. You'll be able to identify the women who are moving in a set apart way a lot easier, knowing that they're not caught up in the matrix, so to speak. But reason why I'm going to use some scriptures to bring out that reality is because the Most High, He never left us hanging. He didn't put us on this earth to not have a clue. We just have to seek out wisdom by reading, by studying, by praying and meditating, and having an open heart, which is a mind, having an open mind. So to prove that, I'm going to read Romans chapter 15, verse 4. It says, For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So the scriptures were written 2,000 plus years ago, and they were written for us to learn how to navigate in life, to have understanding, so we wouldn't be so clueless. So we're going to go back into an account in the history where Queen Vashti, how she was such a beautiful woman and she was married to the king, how her rebelliousness caused her to lose her place in her kingdom and caused her to be a woman of shame instead of a woman of glory, and how her actions could possibly have ruined a lot of other women who followed and idolized her as their leader, So how the king had to nip that in the bud. We're going to go over a few precepts in Ezra's. I'm not Ezra's, but in Esther's chapter 1 and chapter 2 real quick, just to make the sense of the matter. So when you start to understand that how, you're going to have women on earth and men on earth that are just basically under the spell of mainstream human beings who may not mean them any good, you'll be able to identify that they're just copying, which you probably already understand. But I want to share it with you because it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing that people may copy. Your Kim Kardashians, they might copy. Who else would they might copy? I don't know. The mainstream star, the Lizzos. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Lizzo because she's a real positive, charismatic person. She's a beautiful person. And I hope she's on a journey to be healthier. But she's also, women also are taking pride in being obese when they should just be practicing discipline to become more healthier. You see what I'm saying? So instead of making a change for the better, they're just basking in their chaos. They know they need to do better, but it's better to celebrate versus to embrace discipline, and that's what a lot of people are doing. They're basically ignoring the truth of the matter and ignoring it with forms of different pleasure. But let's get into this real quick. We're going to read in First Esther's chapter 1, and we're here in the setting is the king is having a feast for a couple of days, and at this time the king wants to show off Vashti to the judges around him, to the lawmakers and stuff like that, to the princes, because she's a real beautiful woman and he's a king and he's real proud of the woman that he has. Starting at verse 7, it says, "And they gave them drinks in vessels of gold, and vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the king was according to the law, none did compel. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of the house that they should do according to every man's pleasure." So whatever the man's pleasure was, he might want a white wine, he might have wanted red wine. This guy wanted a strong drink. So the king wanted to make sure that everybody's needs were being met. And he was being married. You know what I'm saying? Everybody good, everybody good, everybody good. Yeah, cool. The king's been drinking and eating and being married. And then he wants his wife to come up and probably sit on his lap or sit next to him, and she kiss him, and he smiles, like, this is my baby. But let's see what actually happens. And let's think about a lot of people idolize Beyonce. Beyonce is an attractive woman. She's a married woman, but I think her current album, she's sitting on a horse, basically naked. You see what I'm saying? Very gorgeous woman and stuff like that. And she has the minds of the people, so to speak. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to the king Ahasuerus. Jumping down. So the king requested that one of his guards, his managers of the house, to go grab his wife and bring her forth so that he can sit down with her and show the rest of the house his beautiful wife. Verse 11, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with a crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains and therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So he's upset because he sent his chamberlains, which is his manager of the house, basically one of the top people. Hey, the king sent for you, and she's like, no, I don't want to go right now. I'm busy. And he came back and reported that to the king, and the king's kind of upset. He's embarrassed because he's like, he's like, oh, go get my wife Vashti. And they're like, Vashti? He's like, yeah, she's beautiful. She's so fair to look upon. She's so beautiful. So everybody's in expectation, and he's like feeling kind of good. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is when, you at a celebration and your lady's about to pull up. You know what I'm saying? You kind of excited and like, yeah, that's my lady. Everybody, this is my woman. You know what I'm saying? LaToya or whatever. And LaToya comes in smelling good. You kiss her, she got, and everybody looking like, oh, okay. It's a beautiful thing to experience. You know what I'm saying? When you have a beautiful woman, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you're into that woman, the world becomes quiet. So the king was kind of upset that the fact that she didn't honor him. And he's the top dog. He's the king. So he's kind of bothered and all that type of stuff. But let's find out what else happens. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the law, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all the new laws and judgments. So basically, the king started to talk to his fellow men, and he's like, what do I do in this scenario? And basically, the wise man was like, hey, this is what we're going to have to do. We have to penalize her. She has to be penalized because everybody's like, what the heck's going on? And we can't allow her to be disrespecting you, king. So we're going to have to do something about it. Verse 15 says, what shall we do unto Queen Vashti according to the law, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus, but by the chamberlain. And then it goes on to talk about how she didn't just offend the king, but she offended the princess that was there, the people that was in that province, because everybody looked up to the king, and the king needed to be utmost respected. And like everybody's wondering, who does she think she is to disrespect the king? Verse 16, Memucan answered before the king and the prince, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the prince and to all the people that are in all the province of the king Ahasuerus. And I might be butchering some of these names. Forgive me. For the deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all the women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti's queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. So they're making a big deal out of it. It is a big deal. So he's talking about, what should we do? All right, we're going to create a law. We're going to create a law because we can't have just the average woman mistreating the average man because she had got this bad behavior from the queen. Verse 19. I'm skipping down to verse 19. If it pleases the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the law of the Persians, whatever that place is, and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti's come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate over to excuse me, give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So basically, Vashti's lost her estate. Verse 19 explains that she lost her estate because she damn near lost her mind by not honoring the king's commandment to come forth. Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So she's losing everything that was rightfully hers, her estate, her rank, her place in the kingdom, to someone potentially that is going to be better than her. So, like I said in the previous scripture in Romans 15:4, how it said things are written aforetime were written for our learning. We're seeing that Vashti, she disrespected the king. She disrespected the king, and now she lost her place. And her place is gonna be given to a better woman. How many times men in this society have constantly always leveled up? The relationship didn't go right. Like, I'm gonna find a better woman. I'm gonna find a prettier woman. I'm gonna find this. And that happens so naturally because this is a spiritual thing, and that's things that most men end up doing. Is moving on and finding someone better. You have to find and choose someone better, because there is someone better. If they want to heed to your leadership, fine, let them do their thing. You're gonna have someone better in the future. Let's see where we are at. Verse 20. And when the king decreed, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all the empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both great and small. So he had to make a law and a decree that all the wives that's on this earth or in his providence must give their husbands honor, from small to both small and great. And it's today you hear a lot of YouTube personalities interviewing a lot of women. A lot of women say, "Oh, I want a man that's 6 figures and this, that, and the other," and then I will give them my my submission. Well, you're supposed to be giving the man that's loving you your submission no matter where he is, whether he's small or great. See, they've gone on to this delusion that you have to be a certain status in order for me to give you a certain level of respect. But even the king at this time didn't get that level of respect, so he had to make it a law to tell them, hey, look, if you do not give your husband respect, you will be penalized. You will be penalized. And it is today. Women are not realizing this thing is so spiritual that if you're not choosing to give your man the respect that he deserves, you're going to be penalized. Oh, I want a high value man. I want a high value man. And you're going to be rocked so to sleep to where next you know you wake up and you're in your 50s and nobody wants you. That's going to be your penalty. That's going to be your penalty, and you're not even aware of it. Or you might just get a high value man, but this high value man does not, or let's just say what the world calls a high value man, and he may not know how to care for you, how to protect you, how to inspire you, how to give you wisdom. He just may make money. So you're compromising the quality of men based upon a dollar sign, when even in the scriptures it says both great and small needs to be respected and honored. Okay, so now let's go to verse 22. For he sent letters unto all the king's providence, unto the very providence according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. So basically, it just goes to show you that different races still falling up under that same vibration. The vibration of, oh, I'm going to honor my man if he's got six figures, or I'm going to honor my man. Da, da, da. No, they had to write that thing in all different languages, because no matter what race it was, the vibration of how women were going to follow Vashti, or how women were going to follow Kim Kardashian, or women how going to follow Cardi B. These vibrations, it didn't matter what race it was, the behavior of the women were going to be following women that they looked up to, even if it caused them honor within their own personal lives, even if it caused them to dishonor the man that they actually love, or the man that actually loves them. They're going to fall in suit of these superstars. So the king knew that that's how women moved, so he had to make a decree so that they would have to think twice before they go ahead and go that route, saving their marriages, basically. So what happened now, you guys can go ahead and continue to read throughout the chapters of Esther. It's an awesome point of history where Esther was Vashti was replaced with Esther. And Esther was a beautiful, righteous sister. She was raised by her uncle, Mordecai, and it was destined that she was put in that position because Esther had enough faith where that she can go to her husband at a time where she wasn't supposed to, but she needed to because she listened to her uncle Mordecai, and because of her selflessness, her being willing to die, she went to the king, and he ended up pardoning her and hearing her request, and the request was so that her people can be saved and redeemed, because the people was about to be plotted to be destroyed. So Esther was the type of woman that she was willing to lay down her life for her own people. And let alone Vashti in her pride, she couldn't even go stand in the presence at a party for her people or for her king. So it just goes to show you the different quality of women that they are. And you wanna wait and meet a woman who's willing to die for something righteous. You want a woman that it's not a problem for her to honor her man. You hear in your conversation when you're dating a young lady and she's like, oh, you gotta do this, you got this. Notice she under that vibration. Or if you hear a woman who says, oh, I'm gonna do what's right before the Lord, then you know she's on a different vibration. But these things has happened in the past and they're happening now. And the Most High did not leave us without clues on how to identify and recognize the different qualities of women. They're out there. They're out there. You just got to understand the vibrations, and you got to understand that you need to know what you're looking for. Vashti was very beautiful, but she was a disobedient and dishonorable woman. And she was replaced by someone better. So don't get caught up in looks. And take in a woman who's going to be dishonoring you. Hang on, hang in there. And you can meet a woman who's going to have an attraction and beauty, who will provide you with that level of honor that you deserve, and that she knows that she was raised and required to provide her man. So I hope this was a benefit to anybody who was listening. I know I butchered a couple of the biblical names, but other than that, hope you guys got the message. This is Solo 3.0, and I'm out. Peace.